In North Carolina, entire towns washed away, and the death toll from Hurricane Helene continues to climb steadily, now about 150. But even bigger is the fact that there are still more than 1,000 people this morning missing just in the Tar Heel state. The governor says there could be a more grim future as these floodwaters recede and roads cleared of debris and areas accessed. 4 dozen search and rescue teams still working in western North Carolina today. In Buncombe County alone, the death toll there is almost 50 people, with the city of Asheville absolutely devastated, and smaller towns like Chimney Rock, a tourist mecca for all intents and purposes, gone. Headlines declare the town was swept downriver and into the lake after the area was hit by more than 20 inches of rain and the biblical downpour and the flash floods. But most striking so far, neither Joe Biden, the president, allegedly, or the vice president, Kamala Harris, and the Democrat nominee for president have bothered to go there to offer assistance or even moral support. Biden was fundraising. Kamala remained on the campaign trail. Neither showed up. That was not the case for former President Donald Trump, who dropped everything to fly into the region to offer his support to the millions of people left suffering from the devastation. And this storm could very well have serious consequences for an election that's now just 35 days away. And the Democrats may have delivered their own October surprise, and they did it to themselves. Listen to this.
Well, let me get this straight. We have an active vice president who is running for the presidency of the United States. We have a catastrophic disaster on the east coast of our country. Why have we not heard from Kamala Harris? Why have we not heard from Joe Biden? Why is this administration showing us time and time again why we should not put them back into the White House? Because Kamala, do you want to get elected as president? Show us what you can do when shit hits the fan.
Yeah, when it hits the fan, show us what you can do. And we've seen it. Nothing. Yes, people notice who shows up when the chips are down, and they notice who's standing there fighting for them. And the worst of it right now is in the mountains of North Carolina to the west, where real leadership was on display Monday. In the absence of the president, vice president spoke volumes about who has the fate of the people in mind and who does not. That's right, Donald Trump on the ground. Not Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. Here's part of what he had to say.
Have you reached out to President Biden about federal relief efforts?
No, I haven't reached out to him. No, I think he's sleeping right now, actually. Being responsive, the federal government is not being responsive. But they're having a very hard time getting the president on the phone. He won't get on, and of course the vice president, she's out someplace campaigning, looking for money. So they have to be focused over here. This is a really bad one. And the governor's doing a good job, but he's having a hard time getting the president on the phone. They're being very non-responsive. We're also going to be talking with North Carolina. We're trying to get them hooked up with communication. They're totally closed right now. North Carolina has really been hit hard. Really been hit hard. The hardest. And we can't even get in there right now. And there are a lot of people that have been injured or worse. Very bad. North Carolina. We're working with the people in North Carolina now to get them hooked up for communication.
I believe Joe Biden is sleeping right now, is what he said. Those cut off by thousands of roads and bridges that were washed away are in need of food, water, power, basic supplies, medicine. And they need to let loved ones know they're still alive for those that made it through, because many people don't know. Are my relatives, are my friends alive in North Carolina, or are they not? And with that in mind, Donald Trump, who has no authority to do anything officially right now, is going off book and calling on Elon Musk, his friend Elon Musk, to roll out his Starlink satellite internet system to those trying to struggle through and make contact with the outside world. So while Kamala and Joe are nowhere to be found, Donald Trump is calling on those that can make a difference at this very critical time to do exactly that. Listen to this.
I spoke to Elon. I'm getting him. We want to get Starlink hooked up because they have no communication whatsoever. And Elon will always come through. We know that. And so we're working on that, getting them hooked up. They asked me whether or not that would be possible. And we're going to try and get the Starlink in there as soon as possible because they have no communication. And throughout the region, our hearts are with you, and we are going to be with you as long as you need. It's called an hour of need. You're in our prayers, and we pray to God. And throughout this the long weeks that lay ahead, you're going to have a lot of work, but the end result is it's going to be good. We just wish so many people weren't so badly hurt, and in many cases, sadly, no longer with us. We love you.
Yes, people notice who's fighting for them. And they notice who cannot be bothered by the petty problems of regular folks just losing everything and being annoying. Despite being AWOL and not showing up on the scene, the man who pretends to be president claims he's been busting his butt on the issue of the aftermath of Helene and has been doing so for at least 2 hours a day. A whole 2 hours a day, Joe Biden claims he's been really working hard, leading the effort to save North Carolina. He was actually on vacation, but here's what he actually said.
Do you expect Iran to retaliate?
On the hurricane, Mr. President, why weren't you and Vice President Harris here in Washington commanding this weekend?
I was commanding. I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday and the day before as well. I command. It's called a telephone. And all my security people.
Is it not important for the country to see?
I was commanding it. I was on the phone at least 2 hours yesterday. This is who's running your country. The guy who's not running your country is on the ground talking to people, calling Elon Musk saying, hey, what's it going to take to get Starlink in here? We have an emergency, a real emergency. Almost 2 million people still without power today. October surprise delivered by the Democrats twice.